stand right there.
If you lobbed a bomb through my window, they wouldn't care that much. But yeah, if you did it to the U.S. mail, they get all bent out of shape.
Yeah, they really do.
They really do.
So Stephanie, she finds this package, and just so you know, Gilmore was the last name of her New York City police officer.
So it was her maiden name.
I can't say that for sure. I don't know why her name is different than her father's, but
Could be all kinds.
there's all kinds of reasons there. I'm not
We
going
don't
to.
care. Yeah.
I can't guess. But the point is that the package contained a book. So we've gone book, medallion box, and we're back to a book. And when she opened that book, it went off just like all the other packages. But she wasn't hit directly. Instead, she was hit by the shrapnel, and apparently she was burned. It burned her abdomen.
What shrapnel?
Well, when the bullet goes off, it can shatter the brake line.
Got it.
Because brake line is not heavy-duty metal. I mean, you
Okay,
can
we
bend
just
it by
hadn't
hand.
said that yet.
Okay.
So
Nope.
Yeah. Shrapnel
Perfect.
is bits of.
I
fragments
understand
of
what
crap.
shrapnel is. Thank you. I was
Okay.
asking. It's my impression that the rest of these have been just like a gun going off and people getting hit by bullets. We hadn't said anything about there actually being an explosion going on.
Well,
Good
okay,
point.
so I think Joe and I made a presumption in the beginning when we talked about the fact that zip guns are not permanent guns and they can explode. They can misfire and discharge the power in the ignition, and it may not actually shoot the bullet. It may just
Might just blow up. But you know, another source of shrapnel from this is like, say, if you're building yourself a little homemade thing and you've got a box inside to hollowed out book, and you don't want to be too obvious about it, so you don't cut a hole for the barrel to stick out of.
Sure.
So you
but
leave,
it's a book.
yeah. So there's it. So you know,
But
there
she
might
was-
be. There might
Yeah,
be
but you're not going to get
paper.
injured
The long
from
and
some
the, I
paper.
mean, the long
Yeah.
and the short of it is that part of it exploded.
and
she
a
was
piece
burned.
of something hit her.
A piece of something hit her.
Yeah.
Now it wasn't life-threatening, but of course she's pregnant, so they immediately, and something blew up. They immediately take her to the hospital. The doctors say, your baby's in distress. We're going to induce labor. Don't worry, she had a healthy baby girl. Everybody was fine. She survived the burns and she recovered from all of that. So she is okay then. So here's something to keep in mind for Stephanie is that the reason that she wasn't hit with a round when this package went off is that she didn't open it straight on. Like we talked about before, how you'd open it with a hinge, with a book with
Right,
the
like you're
spine to
holding
your
it with
left.
the book, yeah.
She said she opened it at an angle, so almost as if the corner, the lower right-hand corner was pointed straight at her. So
Yeah.
when she opened it, it went off. That's the reason that she wasn't hit with a round.
Do you
So
know-
she was very lucky in
Do you
that
know why
regard.
Do you know why she did that?
I can't remember why. It was because she was on the phone doing it one-handed, or
I can
It's
imagine.
because she's the freaking bomber. That's why. You know?
Got
Yeah,
it.
She knew what was inside that
Thought
book.
you were asking a
Yeah.
serious question.
Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah.
No, she was very lucky though that she escaped getting shot and having much more harm from this.
Probably
but
getting shot in the gut when you're pregnant is kind of serious.
that's
Pretty
kind of a
serious.
bad.
Yeah.
kinda, yeah.
Our final incident would take place on the 20th of June, 1996. Again, nearly an entire year passes between incidences. And our next player on the docket would be Richard Basile. He is 77. Richard got a package that had a video cassette in it, and I have to presume, based on the time, that it's a VHS cassette.
No. Beta, because beta's better.
I can't
Beta
think
was
of.
gone by that point.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I don't know what else would be a video cassette.
Yeah. I
I'm
don't-
pretty sure it was a VHS
It had
cassette.
to have been.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't cram a couple of D-cell batteries into this one, so he
Well-
must have used double A's.
Well, but this would have so here, let's talk about this because I've spent a lot of time trying to figure this one out. Is a video cassette is about the same height as those medallion boxes. And I think, you remember the VHS cassettes always came in that cardboard sleeve?
Yeah.
So I
Sometimes they
believe-
came in those big plastic things, which made them even bigger.
So if it was in the sleeve or the plastic thing, That would explain how he got actually the plastic case would
The,
explain.
like, clamshell thing?
Yes, the
Yeah.
clamshell would totally explain how he managed to get a couple of D cells in there.
Easily.
Yeah, I don't think he would have used D cells anyway, because I mean, using D cells on a big book is great because they weigh a lot. But you pick up a video cassette that's got D cells in it. That's gonna
You're
weigh too
presuming
much.
this guy thinks about that somebody's going to realize that as they're picking up his happy little bomb.
This guy planned his stuff pretty carefully. I think he probably took that.
But
into account.
obviously, he opens it and it goes off and it shatters a window in his home. He's not hurt. His wife isn't hurt. Again, just like with Stephanie, he didn't open it directly square on. He had it at an angle. He also said he had it away from him when he
distance?
opened it.
Sure.
What I take
he
that
might
to
have
mean
been
is-
farsighted.
I think he set it on the table, and he just kind of looked at it. He's like, I wonder what that is. And he reached over to open it or pull it out of its case, and that's when he ignited it. But, lucky for him, the worst thing it did was break a window in his house.
I don't know. That's pretty expensive.
I
Well,
know,
it is
really.
expensive, but then again, it's 1996, so it's single-pane windows.
Fair enough.
But after that, the Zip Gun Bomber seems to stop entirely. There's no more loaded packages sent to New York residents in the last 20 years. And as far as I know, and this is an open investigation because Joan was killed, so not all the details are out there, but as far as I know, no fingerprints or DNA evidence was ever recovered from the packages. And the police don't really have a clue of who or why this was done by. They haven't ever charged anyone. And as Joe said before, everybody that received one of these packages apparently had either a civil service or a military connection, but there's no real connection other than they worked for a government body. I mean, they all worked for different groups like sanitation department, education department,
Except for-
cop. I mean, it's
Except
all
for
over the map.
Richard Basile, who was a real estate
Yeah,
agent.
and then there's Richard. Like,
I
he
don't
and
know
his
why he's
wife were
connected,
both
yeah.
retired real estate agents, so none of it makes any sense.
Not really.
Well, it occurred to me that maybe the guy was bent out of shape over certain issues, and some of them were government related, like sanitation or whatever, or the schools, or the police.
But but trying to make a point by targeting is weird.
Well, I agree, but that's just symbolic act, maybe, and maybe the reason he targeted a real estate agent is perhaps housing prices in New York City have suddenly shot up.
Yeah.
I'm serious, and so he thinks, okay, I'm going to pick one person that I think is part of the problem here and just kill him. And so that's kind of what I'm wondering. Because I'm just trying to understand the connection between all these people,
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
if there is one.
I was going to say we can talk maybe in theory
Yeah, in
about
theories we'll
the
talk
fact that
about
maybe
that.
there doesn't always have to be a connection.
It might be totally random,
Yeah.
maybe it just happens that 3/4 of the people that live in New York work for the frickin' government.
Yeah.
Maybe,
that's what
maybe.
it is. Yeah.
I will tell you that this is still an ongoing investigation. Last
don't call
article
the
I
police.
read. What's that?
Don't call the police.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Totally call the police. Last thing I read said that there is a $100,000 reward out for for information leading to an arrest, which at this long past, I really kind of don't think it's going to ever happen. But as we talked about, it's a serious crime because A, somebody was killed, and B, they're violating federal law by sending guns and explosives and things you should never be doing through the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh, for sure.
The U.S. Postal Service is for Netflix and GameFly, and that's
Pornography,
it. Because
yeah.
nobody sends anything else through the mail. So hey,
Nobody sends anything except for like those stupid packets of coupons and Xfinity stuff through the mail.
I don't know. Some bozo sent me a wedding save the date card in the mail the other day, so
Oh, I
I
guess
know
that's
that's
true.
getting used for it as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
We'll
know.
talk. I'll tell you about it later.
Okay.
We'll mock it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is all that we have in terms of the story. So we should probably move to the theory section. But before we do, let's take a quick break.
Get your wardrobe ready for all your events this year with Daily Look. Daily Look is an online premium personal styling service for women that sends hand-picked fashion right to your door. Devin's on strike, so I got to read her part. Sounds like the perfect solution for you ladies that don't have any time to shop. Exactly, Devin. All you have to do is fill out a style profile and start to build a one-on-one relationship with your stylist. Then your stylist will handpick up to 12 quality clothing and accessory items from premium brands like J-Brand, Rag & Bone, Gorjana, and new other emerging designers you've never heard of, but they're cool. And you even get a chance to preview your box before it's sent so you can make changes. You keep what you like, return what you don't, and it's totally hassle-free. And this is where Devin's supposed to say, but she's in the bathroom now. Okay, Devin. So you had no obligation to buy? That's right, Devin. Shipping is even free both ways. So it's convenient, it's fun, it's easy to look your best. So you can spend your time doing things that matter to you instead of shopping for clothes. Get styled today by going to dailylook.com and clicking Get Started. Don't forget to use the code SIDEWAYS to get $10 off your first box. That's dailylook.com, dailylook.com, offer code SIDEWAYS. Go there now.
And we're back. So let's talk about our first theory. Theory number one is that the bomber is Craig Kipp.
Son of Joan
Son
Kipp.
of Joan Kipp.
Correct. This is the initial belief of the New York Police Department. Craig was, at the time that his mother was killed, 27 years old, and apparently had been working for his father at their marine consulting business. What a marine consulting business is, I don't know.
Marines come in and say, how do I claim my gun? And then you say,
I don't think that's it. I think it's the thing where you talk to people about the sea.
Oh, really? About boats and stuff like that? Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
consult on the sea.
They say, why does my boat keep sinking?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, maybe
all those holes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not long before the package that killed Joan arrived, Craig was fired by his father for reasons that I don't know.
he must have done something wrong.
He must have done something wrong.
He told them that their boats were sinking because of God.
Yeah.
Maybe. The cops believe that Craig had sent the package to his parents as a way to get back at them. Supposedly his handwriting was similar to writing that was on the package. Though I'll be honest, I've only seen that listed on the entry in Unsolved Mysteries about this story, and I don't trust what you see on the old USM page.
Yeah.
So who knows? But they also.
But by the way, it wasn't cursive; it was block letters, if I recall correctly, right?
I don't know that for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I
I've
thought.
never
That's what I
I've
thought.
never seen a photo of it, so I can't say for sure. But I also do remember reading, I believe it was on the same Unsolved Mysteries post, Craig's scent was picked up by sniffer dogs on the package, but I don't know how long after the fact that happened and if Craig had been in the home and near the package
Or
after
touched
it
the
had
package,
detonated.
or before,
Yeah.
or after, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a whole bunch of questions that for that bit of information from the Unsolved Mysteries entry that I have. But what doesn't make sense to me is, okay, why did he send it to his mother? Because it sounds like his dad was the one who fired him, so why would he target her?
Well, you don't know why he was fired. I mean, it's possible
Could have
that
been his mom's behest.
yeah, it could have been the mom's behest. It's also, the other thing is he could have been trying to get back at his dad by hurting his mom because he knew his dad loved his mom and like it would hurt him to see her hurting
That makes
or
sense.
to lose her
Yeah.
versus him, it's that like death is too good for him sort of thing.
Yeah,
I gotta
maybe-
hurt the people near him.
Or maybe he was kind of a control freak and he insisted on opening all the mail himself,
The dad.
and it was
Yeah.
just maybe that was
So
it,
dad would automatically get it no matter who it was mailed to, kind of
just
thing.
automatically open it all up, I don't know.
Except for on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have bigger problems with this than
Well, yeah, I mean,
Than that.
ignoring that and presuming that the cops are right, what is Craig's connection to all of the other victims? Like,
well, yeah, and even if we're going to go with the typical Joe theory of it was just the one person and they're
Yeah.
trying to cover it up, why wait 12 years
Yeah.
after you'd already been exonerated and they like couldn't levy a case against you? Why wait that long?
Well, that's why he is not exactly the ideal suspect here, yeah.
No.
I mean, maybe one of the others, but again, that long gap.
Question mark, I guess, with like all of these, as I know that's going to be your theory of choice is this. It was one person and all the rest of them were just this weird collateral damage, where that 12-year gap is really troubling for any of
Well,
the
that's,
theories.
that's why I don't believe whoever mailed if it was more than one person, and say they wanted to kill somebody but covered it by mailing it to several random people, and also. I think what it was is somebody who worked, say, in the New York City Police Department or wherever the bomb fragments were kept, somebody could examine the fragments, see how the original bomb was made 10, 12 years before.
And picked up the idea and
picked
ran
up
with
the
it.
idea and ran with it then. There's
Maybe.
always that possibility.
Maybe, but the whole thing against Craig doesn't make any sense. I'll be honest with
Craig
you.
doesn't at all.
Well,
no.
and I'll be honest with you, the second theory that we have here doesn't make any sense either, because it's even thinner than the first one, which is that Harold Kipp did it. Joan's husband.
He wanted to frame Craig.
Well, I mean,
it's not enough to fire you, dude. I gotta get you thrown in jail too. Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe
'Cause you're my
that.
son.
I mean, there's the traditional, matrimonial discontent is something there, but I've only seen this listed in one place, and it's never fleshed out. I really think that some writer dovetailed it in, and I foolishly have now just repeated it, but there's nothing to support it anywhere. So that one actually, I think, is a complete and utter useless theory.
I'm sure it's one the police looked at because husbands and wives do kill each other all the time.
Yeah, but
It's not
I
unusual.
think that it very quickly fell apart because there's just nothing to support it.
Well, I mean, it could have been not. Again, there's nothing to support this whatsoever. But sometimes when I look at cases like this, I think, well, the intention wasn't to kill; it was to maim, so that person became more reliant on their spouse because their spouse was feeling,
Munchausen by proxy,
or
kind of thing,
or even just was feeling like, oh, this person's going to leave me because they don't need me anymore, so they've got to need me again. And if they're a paraplegic, they'll need me. I'll have to take care of them. They'll be dependent on me.
No. I mean, you may be right, Devin. I
But
don't
again,
know.
they're bad theories.
Yeah, well, let's move on to the next theory, which at least has some substance to it.
Yeah, okay.
And that this was all done by a guy named Stephen Wawra.
So,
This
who?
is a guy we have not introduced into the story yet.
Okay.
Because
Just
he
wanted
is
to make sure. I'm sorry.
completely outside character. So let's talk about Mr. Wawra.
He didn't know any of these people.
That's a big problem. But
Yeah, that's
he
why he's
knew
an
one of
outside
them.
character.
Okay, so back in 1983, the cops raided Wawra's house for some reason, which I can't find why they did it.
We call that an undisclosed reason.
Correct.
They
Okay,
just
but
felt like it.
when they did, they found the makings of a book bomb on his kitchen table, and by that I mean a hollowed-out book with the components of a bomb. And
that
I
would
think
make
it
him
means
a suspect, huh?
well, and I think this means, yeah, it does, but I think this means a real bomb, not a zip gun style bomb, but more of an IED, like a real go boom kind of bomb.
Yeah, and by the way, to address something you said much earlier, Devin, about what is this really a bomb? Actually, not entirely. Bombs are meant to just blow up and send stuff flying in all directions,
Right.
whereas these things direct bullets in specific directions. So
It's
sort of a bomb, but
well, I think that's why they called it a
zip.
zip gun, is they didn't know really what the hell to call it.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a hybrid between a gun and a bomb. Really.
Yeah, but they find this stuff, and Wawra at the time he says he was planning to use it on a local military base, and the reason why, well, we're not entirely sure of, because it turns out that Wawra served in the Navy from 1972 to 1973, and while he was enlisted, he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and how much that particular illness played into his decision to build this bomb is hard to say. I mean, it's feasible that it played a significant role, but we don't know if he was receiving treatment or getting medications, so I don't know. I'm not going to point to that as his sole reason to do all that.
Well,
Is that
and
an
as
easy
we've
scapegoat?
as we've pointed out before, statistically, people who are diagnosed with things like schizophrenia are more likely to be victims of crimes than they are to be perpetrators of crimes.
Right,
so
But that doesn't mean that they don't do things.
it
like
doesn't mean that
medication.
some people do that, but
Well,
also totally,
It could
you know.
be. It could also be that he was booted from the Navy and he was just bitter about it, because
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they booted him for legitimate reasons. You really don't want to have people who have mental issues in the
Well,
military.
and like I said, he
But,
said he intended to take this bomb and take it to a military base. So he obviously had some. Listen,
Yeah.
the guy wrote a 250-page manifesto
I know.
and mailed it out.
He put the Unabomber to shame.
Yeah, in
It's
terms
kinda
of
good.
sheer number of pages, absolutely. absolutely. But the thing is, that incident in 1983, that wasn't obviously a zip gun bomb, and it didn't directly connect him to the death of Joan Kipp. It would be later discovered that he did have a connection to her because he had gone to Diker Heights Junior High School where she had worked. He apparently had been held back for 2 years, and she had been a guidance counselor, and he had interacted with her. But he also said he had nothing against her.
But also, that's like a long time.
It is a long time, but also, it's been a long time since I've been in high school. I don't remember, I never got held back. There were other kids that did occasionally. I don't recall if the guidance counselors really got any input into those decisions anyway.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons that the kids I knew got held back, whether it be from behavioral problems directly, like, skipping school